You ever wonder if the world that we live in is a world within worlds of our own thoughts? Essentially meaning, as I look outside this window that you cannot see right now, your world and your perception of what you're currently watching, which is me, is that. But I am watching something else while talking to you. And the perception that I'm trying to deliver with this message is a perception that will be inherited by you, or, for lack of better terms, ingested by you. By however way you choose to ingest it, based on your perspective of life and what life has exposed you to, which you can connect with this video. But the fact remains that if both of us are looking at this window that I'm looking at right now, the fact is that we're both going to have different opinions of what's pretty on it, what draws our attention, what thoughts come to our minds, what memories come to our mind. And that in itself speaks of a world within our own selves, within the world that we share here on Earth. And why does that matter? It matters because once we realize that we are the authors of our own world, that although we live in a pre-existent world, what we choose to do with our lives, how we choose to look at things in life, ultimately create our own world. And that's very powerful, because although there are things out here outside this window that I cannot control, I can control this now. What I look, what I feel, the sun in my face, the sun in my eyes, the slight wind coming in, the beautiful colors around me, the initiative of and thought of just taking the time to really consider that and feel it and process that through my brain, allowing to focus on what that feel is like on a physical body that then projects into memories or thoughts. And this is important because we live a life that is set to feel sometimes like we have no control. But if we stop and think about how we got here as individuals, if you take a moment and spend this moment with yourself and take a journey back into the earlier chapters of your life, for as far as you can remember, and think of the things you've been exposed to, the teachings from your parents, your friends, the experiences, the lessons that you've gained and didn't gain from those particular experiences that you lived, the beautiful places you've chosen to travel, the risks that you chose to take, the actions that you did and did not choose to take, the things you chose to say and things that you did not choose to say. And quickly you will come into term to realize that all along, from the moment you were born, you subconsciously have always been the author to your own life, to your own world. And that although society has led us to believe that we must live a certain way, must do certain things in order to be happy, in order to be successful. Happiness and success are two words that have been created by humans, and the meanings can vary from person to person around the globe. So, what is the definition and the meaning of happiness? There is no definition. It's whatever you want it to be. The definition and meaning of happiness, of success, is defined by your own definition based on your experiences and your perception of them. But if that's the case, then the world that we live in, which is Earth, is just a placeholder for our internal world, for our own reality as individuals, and the impact and the routes and choices that we choose to make that affect the world that we live in. But at the end of the day, whether I'm a Galileo or a Hitler, it's all based on my choices. It's based on the actions that I take in my individual world, in my reality. The persuasion and affirmations in which I convince and tell myself of what happiness and success means to me. So, if that's the case, then wouldn't it be smart, or for better words, wouldn't it make sense that instead of looking at the world that we live in, that we take a look at the world that we create within us? Wouldn't it make sense to focus on ourselves to then be able to impact the world around us for whatever initiative that we want to achieve? Because you see, in order to achieve anything in this world, you must choose to take action in our world. Because from the moment that you were a baby and you chose to crawl out of curiosity, although you didn't know anything about it, you did it. And then you learn about balance and how to walk. And you learn to explore even more. But from a young age, you were creating your own reality. From the time you were a baby, curiosity led you to physical actions in order to achieve the curiosity that you were wondering about as a kid. The same thing happens when we pretty much we learned to ride a bike. Everybody that learned how to ride a bike started with the training wheels. Maybe you fell a couple times, maybe you didn't, but maybe you just started with the training wheels right away, so then you learn on how to pedal and how to move the steering wheel or the handlebars. And maybe you had the parents that took one training wheel off, or maybe you had the parents that took both of them off. But eventually, you chose and learned to ride a bike with no training wheels. And you chose and learned to take that tool, to take you places in which you were curious about. And this same iteration has been repeated over and over throughout our lives, because curiosity has always been the endeavor to our world, because curiosity has led us to actionable reasons to pursue different things in the exterior world, that being Earth. So, take a look at your inner world, at you, and think about what reality means to you and what is important and why. And by doing this, whatever the exterior world brings upon you, you will be that much better equipped to get on that bicycle and start riding again. Life is what we make it to be. It's our own perception, it's our own reality. Life just is. It's not beautiful nor ugly or unfair or fair. The world exists because it does, and we're in it. And the feelings and emotions that we feel and create are just that, are creations that we create. And the sooner we can understand that and realize that we have that power, we have the power of controlling our own feelings, of understanding ourselves and our own reality, the sooner that we can take control of our inner world and live a holistic, complete life. So I invite you to explore yourself and the inner world that lives within you from the moment that you can remember till now. And don't focus on the negative thoughts or persuasions that society has taught you of what you could have done and shouldn't have done and this and that. But rather focus on the choices that have led you to the life that you have today. And take a look at the persuasion in which you have also created, with some influences of life, of the exterior world, such as society and the way you were raised and the experiences that you have had. And for a moment, think of how you can continue to live a life that is full for you. Or what can you do to change that? What does that mean to you? What does happiness mean to you? Why is it important? Why is success important? And what does success mean? Does it have a financial attachment to it? Or is success does it mean liberation? And if liberation is the word that you choose, then what does that mean to you? What does freedom mean? And if you're unhappy, why? Why are you unhappy? I invite you to do this because a day, a week, a month, a year, a century will go by. And life does not wait. Time, although created by humans as well, as far as we can understand it, time goes on. And in our physical world here on Earth, it doesn't wait. So choose wisely on the things that you choose to take as a reality in your world and put the focus and energy on. Because time in the physical world outside of us also will go on. And when we die, it goes on. But we have limited time. So I invite you to tap into that. Tap into that thought. And even though it might be discomforting, try it out. See what comes up. And always remember that negative words, negative thoughts, negative anything and everything is created by you. That it doesn't exist until you give it power. So let's live a happy, positive, full life in your terms in this world. Because if we can show up for ourselves, then we can show up for the rest of the world.